and gentlemen, and welcome to our Money and Banking Evening News. Today in our news we will talk about 3 financial scandals, and we have in our studios 3 guests who we will interview on that topic. Our first 2 guests are financial experts, Mr. Khoruzhyy and Mr. Borys Kravchuk. They will represent US Citibank. Good evening, gentlemen. Could you please tell me where did this bank go wrong?
So talking about Citibank, in 2015 it was engaged in consumer illegal credit card practices, and together with its subsidiaries it was engaged in deceptive marketing, unfair billing practices and deceptive collection practices to nearly 8.8 million consumers.
What were the penalties, monetary or non-monetary?
Citibank received both monetary and non-monetary penalties from CFPB, so it should provide 700 million in relief to roughly 8.8 million consumers and pay 35 million penalty to CFPB. Also, it should not be engaging in illegal practices anymore and unfair billing practices and conveniently repays consumers.
Do you as experts agree that what this bank did was wrong and that the punishment fit the misdeed?
Well, we absolutely think that what Citibank has committed is going against all CFPB regulations and the common sense, because they were cheating on their customers. And I believe that CFPB's fine of 35 million was absolutely right in its size, and it would be an example for other banks.
As you are specialists in risk management, what were some risk management practices that failed to be applied, which contributed to the problems of this bank?
After reviewing the case, we found out that Citibank's compliance and regulatory risk management practices have failed in this case.
Thank you for being part of our show, and we will be right back in a moment. Welcome back to our Money and Banking Evening News. Our third guest is financial expert Mr. Biletskiy, who will tell us more about the Spanish bank Bankia. Good evening, Mr. Taras. Could you please tell us what did this bank do wrong and what were the penalties for what they did?
Sure. So, internal audit of the bank warned the bank's official that Bankia had a number of severe problems regarding its profitability, solvency, and liquidity. Yet, the higher chief officers still launched the initial public offering on the Madrid Stock Exchange in 2011. And the monetary penalties are the lawsuit that claims to the amount of 900 million.
And what about non-monetary penalty?
The non-monetary penalty include the imprisonment of the CEO and vice president of the company.
And in your opinion, what were some risk management practices that failed to be applied in this bank that contributed to their problems?
The risk management practices that were violated are operational, and also the company's reputation has been hurt.
Thank you very much for participating in our show, and we'll be with you in a moment. And for our third case, we decided to represent you the UK retail chain Tesco. Unfortunately, as this still remains a topic of concern, none of the experts were able to come and talk to us on this topic. But for what it's worth, I will represent to you what were some of the problems and what happened to this company. So where this company did wrong is that they added millions in their accounts and they were charged with fraud. They deliberately delayed payments to maximize their profits. Tesco overestimated its profits by £263 million. In their penalties, some of the monetary penalties for settling a probe is a £129 million of fine and £85 million of compensation to shareholders. About their non-monetary penalties, this chain suffers from the loss of customers, suppliers' trust, but it is already working on regaining it. We definitely agree that what this company did was wrong. The deferred prosecution agreement that was applied is a more effective punishment for illegal behavior so that a company will not be able to escape persecution with the help of its lawyers. In this case, the risk management practices that fail to be applied are in the first line of defense, like risk management by business operators, as well as independent risk control and compliance. Also, we see the failing of the third line of defense, as this company failed to address its needs only after 2 and even more years. Thank you for watching Money and Banking Evening Show. Till next time, your favorite news anchor, Sara Pavlova.